Meanwhile, back at home, the Biden administration is dealing with a collapsing narrative on COVID-19. Peter Doocy was on his game today, and his questions about vaccines were dead on. Take a look.
I understand that the science says that vaccines prevent death, but I'm triple vaxxed, still got COVID. You're triple vaxxed, still got COVID. Why is the president still referring to this as a pandemic of the unvaccinated?
Well, I think, Peter, there's a significant difference between, and you just experienced this, and not to expose your public health experience, but I can speak to mine as well. I had been triple vaxxed. I had minor symptoms. There is a huge difference between that and being unvaccinated.
Will the president update his language at some time to be more reflective of the fact that people who are triple vaccinated are catching and spreading COVID?
I think the president has said, as have we a number of times, that there will be breakthrough cases. There will be people who get COVID.
Psaki also had a difficult time explaining why the left's favorite Supreme Court justice was spewing COVID misinformation from the bench, and it was bad. Take a look.
You guys have been very aggressive countering COVID misinformation. So what do you guys think about COVID misinformation coming from the Supreme Court and Sonia Sotomayor's false claim that over 100,000 children are in serious condition, many on ventilators?
Well, I'm not going to speak to Supreme Court arguments or statements made in those arguments.
100,000 kids, 750 million Americans, and last but not least, Peter Doocy also pressed Jen Psaki on why Joe Biden was so unprepared for the winter surge. We didn't see it coming, he said.
Why is it that you guys were so unprepared for the need for testing after the holidays?
Well, Peter, I'm happy to see you back and well. I would second say that there has been a massive surge in cases, as you know, and we're a part of, in D.C. and New York. And there's been an unprecedented, and other parts of the country as well, there's been an unprecedented demand for tests.
The president talked about a winter of severe illness and death. At the rate you guys are going, these tests are not going to be available until spring. So will you admit that these free tests you guys promised are not going to be ready until after the Omicron surge?
I think I gave an update earlier that we'll start to have tests out the door in the coming weeks very soon.
Now, by the way, tests are not available. America's supply chain crisis is still ongoing. Picture after picture showing empty shelves all across the country. It is clear to America tonight Joe Biden is failing at a very high level. Thankfully, in less than a year, a massive referendum is now forthcoming. Joining us now, Fox News White House correspondent, our friend Peter Doocy is with us. So here's a quote of Joe Biden. If you get the vaccine, you're not going to get COVID. The great Dr. Fauci himself, if you get the vaccine, it'll prevent you from getting COVID. Do they have an answer to that?
They do. And Sean, what we have seen over the course of the last year plus is that the vaccines are great. They were developed beginning under the Trump administration with Operation Warp Speed in record time. They reduce deaths, they reduce hospitalizations, but they are not, at this point, with this variant, the entire ballgame. This is an administration that from day one chose to go all in on vaccines. Every single COVID event that they do, they say the number one thing you got to be doing is get vaccinated. That is great, and that worked for a long time. And we even got to a point for like 2 weeks here where people who were vaccinated didn't have to wear masks.
After Christmas,
great.
all I found is every American couldn't get a test. And Joe Biden said under Donald Trump, oh, it's a travesty. Here, we're now in year 3. How do we run out of tests? How he never mentions monoclonal antibodies except one time in his vaccine mandate speech. Then he mentions it, and all of a sudden they become in short supply. Why did that happen? And where are the antivirals that every doctor is raving about? Where's Operation Warp Speed for all 3 of those things?
So the 2 things about that. Number one, Jen Psaki alluded to it there. I tested positive here at the White House last Monday morning for COVID. I wasn't positive that I had it because I felt okay. I wanted to get another test near where I live. And I did what Joe Biden said on Tuesday. Just Google test near me. Not available. They were all jammed up. And the White House was telling me to isolate. So you're basically on ice. This website that they've been promising that was going to be ready, they were talking about it weeks ago, ready sometime in January, where you can just put in your address and the administration will send you a test through the post office. That's not available right now either. So they missed their opportunity to help
Yeah.
people who were traveling over Christmas, at the same time that Joe Biden's on TV warning about a winter of severe illness and death. So they've been
Just a
preparing since the
national
transition
disgrace.
in Delaware last year, but here we are. Tests are tough.
Well, first of all, we're glad you're okay. Great job today. You were on your A game, as always. Thank you.